Hello Stock Fox family, I'm Stock Fox and welcome back to my channel. Well, today we're going to be discussing Riot and Mara and why I feel so bullish about both of these stocks. But before we get into that, I just want to thank each and every one of you out there who've been supporting my channel along the way. For those of you who are watching for the very first time, please do consider liking and subscribing to my channel at this time. And for those of you who are interested in supporting the channel, you can send a super thanks down below. Now, let's get into why I'm so bullish about Riot and Mara. Well, one of the reasons why I'm bullish about Riot and Mara in the direction that they're going in, not just because the stock is breaking out at this time, but there was an article written back on the 14th here, and I hope you can see this real clearly. I've tried to squeeze all of this in. It says here, do option traders know something about Riot blockchain stock that we don't know? Well, I'm not going to dive real deep into what options is because a lot of people may not know anything about options. Some may know a little and some may know a lot. But I'm going to touch on it anyways because I do find that it is important here if you do own this particular stock, which most of you following this channel do. It says here, investors in Riot blockchain, Riot need to pay close attention to the stock based on moves in the options market lately. It says that is because on October the 14th of this year, there was a $2 call that had some of the highest implied volatility of all equity options today. Well, what exactly is implied volatility? But before I go into that, I'm not an options guru, but I do buy contracts from time to time. So I do dabble in options. I choose not to bring it to the forefront of my channel because everybody is just not really up to speed when it comes to options. And I don't really know if there is if there's an audience out there for options. But if there is, please leave me a comment down below. So I do look at the delta sometimes to see exactly what the direction it is, what direction the stock is actually going to go in based on how many calls or how many puts are being placed on a particular stock. Now, let's take a look here. It says, what exactly is implied volatility? It says implied volatility shows how much movement the market is expecting in the future. It says options with high levels of implied volatility suggest that investors in the underlying stock are expecting a big move in one direction or the other. It could also mean that there is an event coming up soon, which we all know that that Riot will be reporting next month on an earnings call. Now, it says that some of these events can also cause a big rally or a huge sell-off. However, implied volatility is the only one piece of the puzzle when putting together an option strategy. Okay, so I'm not going to read the whole article, but I just wanted to touch on that just to kind of give you some insight here as to why we may be experiencing the big move that we're experiencing today in the run-up with Riot and Mara. Now, here's another article here. This is something I touched on in one of my previous videos, and it states right here, it says Riot blockchain. And I think that the heading reads, it says Riot breaks ground with a 1 gigawatt data center facility in Corsicana, Texas, which I've already touched on this previously, but I'll just kind of touch on it again here. I think all of these things are culminating right now that is propelling the stock higher. So let's just take a look and see what they're saying here. It says Riot blockchain, a Bitcoin mining and data center hosting company, broke ground with this 1 gigawatt expansion project in Corsicana, Texas. It says this groundbreaking marks a significant step forward in demonstrating Riot's ongoing commitment to positively impacting the rural communities that we operate in. And this is coming from their EVP, Chad Harris. Now, the development of Corsicana facility builds out on the success of a 700 megawatt Rockdale facility, and when complete, will bring Riot's market-leading position to a total of 1.7 gigawatts of developed capacity. It still lags that of Mara, but obviously they're gaining traction and they're playing catch-up at this time. But overall, this is something that is really good for Riot, that they are basically on schedule at this time with this particular facility. As we all know, Texas is a very friendly state when it comes to the Bitcoin mining companies. A lot of them are coming here and they're opening up their facilities at this time. We can see here it says Senator Elizabeth Warren and 6 other members of U.S. Congress called on leaders in Texas to disclose the energy usage and environmental impact of Bitcoin mining. Will that have an effect on whether or not Bitcoin miners continue to open facilities here in Texas? I personally do not. I think that that these companies are coming here with the assurance that that the legislation here in Texas is going to be great for building out these facilities for the long haul. Let's also take a look at something else. Another article that I found that I wanted to share with you, and it says here, it says Riot blockchain dips more than broader markets. What you should do. Well, when I run across an article like this, I oftentimes think to myself, what exactly do one think when they actually read a heading like that? Is that something that, you know, that makes you a little skittish? Does it make you kind of want to jump out of a stock? Does it make you want to buy more because the stock is just dipped? Or are you pretty much flat across the board and this is kind of a nothing burger and it doesn't move your meter one way or the other? Well, let's go on down here and take a look here. What this article has to say. It says Riot blockchain closed the most recent trading day at $5.58, which we're about to get ready to take a look at a chart here in just a moment with the movement that's taken place in the last 5 days with Riot. And it says in that trading session, again, dropping some $5.58. It actually traded a little lower than that during the intraday, but closed at $5.58. Now, it says this move lagged the S&P 500 daily loss here, which I'm kind of skipping over this. It says investors will be hoping for strength from Riot blockchain as it incorporates its next earnings release. On that day, Riot blockchain is projected to report an earnings of 3 cents per share, which will represent a year-over-year decline of some 88, almost 89%. When we say year over year, that means we're going all the way back, obviously, to October this time last year, which is the stock was trading in the $40 range, much higher than where it is right now. So that makes absolute sense that it is down year over year, some 88%. All right. So that is something I wanted to just kind of bring to your attention. Getting back to the article itself, please leave me a comment down below if indeed when you read a heading like this right here and you see a stock that is dipped down, that is retracing back to its lows again. What are your thoughts? Are you holding firm or are you one of those out there selling? Okay, because like I said before, you know, as I've stated many times in the past, there's many ways to make money in the market. One of those is being a long-term investor. And obviously, if you're a long-term investor, when you see a heading like that on an article, you're probably unfazed by it because basically you're in for the long term. But if you are actually day trading it, swing trading, or scalp trading a stock, how do you feel when you see this right here? I mean, do you get a little shaky? Do you decide to jump out? Do you buy more? Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are regarding that right there, that article. Here's the chart right here on Riot blockchain. And as you can see, the breakout has already begun. Now, I'll tell you what my thoughts are on the breakout here and whether or not I believe that we will be able to sustain this here in just a moment. But before I go any further, I just want to say, StockFox family, as I always do, anything I say is not a suggestion for you to buy, sell, hold, or trade any type of cryptocurrency or stocks. Now, let's dive right in here. We can see here that the stock today is trading at $6.99, right? But as you can see right here, when the article was written on October the 20th, the stock was selling at $5.58 as a close of business that day. And now, if you read that article and you sold, well, this is what you would have missed out on. You would have missed out on a, basically, let me just make sure here. You would have missed out on a 25% run-up. Almost a 26% run-up is what you would have missed out on. That is a monster move. If you looked at the article, and the article basically was negative. and you decided that, hey, you know what? I'm going to basically, get out of this particular play and look to get back in at another time. You would have missed out on a 25% run up in a 5-day span. So it does play. It does pay to play the long game. And it also pays to have patience when you're investing in these particular stocks. Okay. Now, if you're a long-term investor, no issue whatsoever. If you're a day trader, swing trader, or a scalp trader, you could have really have missed out on making a lot of money in this particular play. That being said, let me go ahead and say this for the record. Okay, I don't oftentimes say this enough. There's many ways to make money. Being a long-term investor is just one of them. All right. So if you are someone out there who is day trading, swing trading this particular play, and you were able to buy this particular stock at 5.58 and you got $1.50 move, and let's just say you purchase let's just say you purchased a couple of $1,000s in the stock, right? And now you're up some $3,000 on this play right now. There's nothing wrong with taking profits, okay? There's nothing wrong with taking profits. And I know I'm going to get some comments down below where someone's probably going to say, you should be in for the long haul. If you're an investor, you're causing, the stock to swing, have these huge swings. That may be true, but I'm a believer that we play this game to make money and we play to win. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with taking profits. If you did take some profits today based on where the market closed, and even in aftermarkets right now, I think this play is still starting to run up a little bit. If you took profits, please leave me a comment down below and let me know that you actually did take profits today. Let's go ahead and touch bases on another reason why I'm actually bullish on Riot. So another reason why I'm bullish on Riot, as you can see right now, it says the number of insider shares traded. So when I come over here on the NASDAQ and I look to see exactly what activity is taking place around this particular stock, this is one of the areas where I come to. So as you can see right here, we have the total number of shares bought in a 3-month span. This is what I'm looking for. Pretty much the last quarter, the last 90 days. We're looking at 8.2 million or practically 8.3 million shares bought. Sold was about 105,000. Total shares traded about 8.4 million. And we have a net gain of about 8.2 million shares on a net gain. So a lot of activity here in Riot. So someone knew something. Maybe it was those option traders that may have knew something when they got in on the 14th and began to basically push the stock forward. Okay, but someone knew something. Someone knew that there was a major move that was coming. Okay, can't say with certainty, but someone must have known something. All right, so this is one area that I come over here to take a look at. A lot of activity right here, but again, we have a net gain here of about 8.2 million shares traded for Riot to the upside. Okay, so now I'm going to show you Riot, but I'm also going to show you Mara as well. So let's take a look at Mara. Okay, so Mara is sort of the reverse opposite. Hang in there with me. I'm going somewhere with this right here. Mara, let's take a look here. It says the insider shares traded here. If you look here, it says Mara in the last quarter, last 90 days, number of shares bought was only 5,000. Number of shares sold was 37,500. Total shares traded was 42,000 with a net loss of 32,500 in the last 90 days. Okay. Now, if we go back 12 months ago, which is when the stock was pretty much performing at its high, you'll see we had a net gain of 210,000. But let's focus in over here at the 32,500. I'm about to show you a chart as to why I feel that basically we had a net loss here. Okay. So let's take a look at, let's go ahead and dive into this particular chart. All right. So if we're looking here, on August the 12th, this Mara traded for $18.24, which is where it closed. Actually, during intraday, it had a high of over $19. You go back and look at one of my previous videos you'll see in there where I basically contemplated. I brought that to you guys and I said, I'm contemplating selling Mara, okay? And I held on to it and I didn't do it because that would have gave me 3x my money at that time. But I was playing the long game and I decided at that moment that I was going to basically hold, right? So as we see now, back on that day, Mara did not hold, right? Mara declined all the way as low as pretty much about a 9% loss on August the 12th. So as you can see here, it has plummeted all the way down to $9.61 from that high at that time, which was $18.24. Now, let's go back over here and take a look at something here. I believe that within the last 90 days, that's when the bulk of people begin to sell their position, okay? So you can get caught up into the long game or the short game, depending on what type of investor you are, okay? But if indeed you were a long-term investor, you probably were thinking, I probably should have sold here. And we watched the stock plummet all the way down, back down to $9.61, where some of the swing traders and day traders may have got off the train up here at 18.24 or 19 and change doing intraday and look to buy back in on some of these dips. Well, here we are again. Since that dip, MAR has now run back up some basically 54% since that dip, okay? So a nice run up for MAR, right? Going from 961 all the way back up to 1484, right? So if indeed you sold at this peak back in August, leave me a comment down below. I want to know if indeed you sold, right? If you're still holding from that peak and you didn't get off the train and you're still on it, and we're back at 1486, I want to know that you're still on the train. Are you a long-term investor? Are you a swing trader or a day trader? And what is your outlook on MARA as we move forward? Let's take a look at something else here, okay? So right here it says in this article, it says Marathon is poised for growth post-mining operations transition, okay? Now let's take a quick look here at this article. It says Marathon Digital released its September and third quarter Bitcoin mining update on Friday, which showed significant improvement compared to the previous 2 months. All right, so it is again trending in the right direction. We're getting that positive news. All of these things basically are playing a factor as the stock gets ready to shift and transition. Okay, not saying that this is the only factor, but the deciding factor, right? Let me go ahead and get over to what that is. But before I do that, we are all pretty clear right now on when it comes to Riot and MARA. What we should be clear on is what moves Riot and MARA. Yes, articles move it, good news coming out moves it, earnings will move it, okay? All of those things are great catalysts in favor of a stock going up. But what's the number one thing out there that will move both of these stocks in the up direction? There is one thing that they both have in common. And you want to know what that one thing is? Well, I'm about to show you. The one thing that moves both of these stocks that they have in common is Bitcoin. As Bitcoin goes, so does Riot and so does MARA. As Bitcoin goes, so does Riot and so does MARA. Let me give you a good example what I mean when I say as Bitcoin goes, so does Riot and so does MARA. You see this chart right here? This chart right here is basically a chart that has Bitcoin, Riot, and MARA. Okay, so I am tracking all three of these particular companies on this chart. And as you can see, Bitcoin is in the sky blue. I'm sorry, in the blue here, and you see Riot is in the sky blue, which is here, and then you see MARA in the purple. We can look at Bitcoin right here, and we should be able to see that as whatever Bitcoin is doing right now, MARA and Riot is mimicking it. okay, they're working in concert with each other. Even though they don't have anything to do with each other, they're working in concert with each other, because as Bitcoin goes up, so does Riot and so does Mara. Okay, so this is the chart that I wanted to share with you, even though I brought all of that information to you and content to you to bring you to this point. Okay, when I roll over in the morning, if I want to know what Riot is trading at and what Mara is trading at, all I need to do is check Bitcoin, right? So if I want to know what these two mining companies are doing, all I need to do is check Bitcoin to know exactly what kind of day it's going to be. Now, barring some really negative news or something coming out on these two particular companies, but usually the trend is that they're going to basically chart their pathways about the same. As you can see on the chart, when Bitcoin spikes, so does Mara and so does Riot. Okay. So that right there is what I'm going to actually leave you with today, StockFox family. I hope you got something out of this content today. And for those of you who are watching for the very first time, please do consider liking and subscribing to the channel. And please don't forget to smash the like button for all of you who are watching out there. It really does help a channel like mine continue to grow. For those of you who would like to support this channel, please do consider sending a super thanks down below. Well, that's all I have for you today, StockFox family. And if you can think of anything else that you would like for me to bring to you, please leave a comment down below, and I'll see you in the next video.